a little bit, I think, right before we entered. But why don't you set us up, once we get the stats overlay going, why don't you set us up with a little bit of background on both JHobz and Icex, who are going to be the next runners in this tournament?
Yes, so I believe we are in the Ori division. Yeah, so this is going to be the round of 32 match with JHobz versus Icex. Both of these runners are fairly new, at least to the all skills category. I know JHobz started picking it up earlier this year. He ran glitchless earlier, and then switched over to all skills for the tournament. And Icex, can you tell us about Icex?
Yeah, so Icex is a relatively he was around for a little while, and he's been pretty on and off with being active in the Ori community. He also actually is running a game I am currently learning right now, which is Hyper Light Drifter. He's a big member of that community as well, with helping with routing and stuff. So, and over the course of the tournament, or in the last about 6 months, he's actually helped with some brainstorming with regards to the route, and on and off, as I said before. And he's got a pretty mid-tier time right now. If you just look purely at PBs, Icex is substantially farther behind, but he has been able to throw in a couple decent runs in this race. As just to kind of segue a little bit into this matchup in particular, I brought it up in my commentary yesterday a little bit when I was doing with Ruse, but JHobz in one of his matches in the group stage had a run that was a full Italian restaurant amount of spaghetti in it, and actually almost ended up losing to the eventual, I believe it was 4th seed in their group. So that is definitely something to look out with. And I know for a fact that both of these guys have not really been actively running the game. JHobz has had a little bit of practice, but JHobz has been doing like some Kingdom Hearts stuff, and Icex has been doing, I think, some HLD and some other stuff as well. So yeah, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, recently I've seen Icex do a couple runs of Hollow Knight, which is a new Metroidvania type game, so he can't get enough of this genre, apparently.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, the genre is great, man. There's some really good movement you can do depending on what type of Metroidvania game you're talking about. So that's always pretty sweet.
Yeah, and one thing I want to note about Icex is his tournament average so far is a 41.39, but his best match or best race in the tournament is only 43 seconds slower than the average, or faster than the average. There's only 2 other people who have an average so close to their tournament best, and one of those is Hetfield. So it's really quite amazing how consistent he has been in these tournament races so far. Now, granted, him being a little rusty, you may see some slips here and there, but I'm hoping he can pull it out and show us some more of that consistency.
Yeah, definitely. I really hope for that as well. And I think to kind of highlight a couple places where Icex could maybe catch up if he has a clean run is definitely in the first couple splits, since some deaths are very, very costly and you don't have very fast movement. So a lot of the deaths cost you at least 30 seconds. And also Valley of the Wind between Sorrow Bash, or if you decide to not put a safety save down when you're starting to do the frog juggle part of Sorrow Pass itself, that could be interesting. So it'll be very intriguing to see how JHobz will drop down safety saves, because as we saw in the previous race, Elo decided the first time through he wasn't going to drop a safety save right before frog juggle. He ended up messing frog juggle up, and he tried to correct it, and he ended up dying and losing about a minute and probably 15 seconds because of it. So yeah. So
that's another thing. So their PBs between these 2 racers are quite a bit far apart, a little over 4 minutes. However, JHobz has been known to go for some pretty crazy strats. A lot of them he's come up with himself, and even recommends to other runners, don't do these strats, these are crazy. And that's the kind of stuff that's going to potentially allow Icex to gain a little bit of time on him. Because, like, for example, JHobz does not save in Sorrow anymore. And if he has another costly death like Elo had, that will be an opportunity for Icex to potentially close the gap.
Yeah, definitely. And on top of that as well, with those types of tricks, there's been a couple that he's done inside of Misty Woods. One is the Meteor Kick right after Climb that he does off the Frankie that a couple other runners now do, which is a little less dicey. It's still pretty dicey, but the one that's really dicey is what is coined the meatball strats, because there's this little vertical shaft area that you have to jump across, usually with either climb setups or just regular wall jump, double jump setups, that Hobbs decides, I'm just going to actually directly just charge jump through here, and I don't care if I take this 3 damage on this meatball, but we're going to get up there really freaking quickly. And it saves, like, I would say like 3 seconds, maybe 2 seconds at most. But he goes for it like all the time. So it'll be interesting to see if he does that, again in this upcoming race, since he is feeling a little bit rusty.
Yeah, knowing JHobz, he's going to go for everything if he has the current health and energy to do it. If he has 1 energy, he will be going for fish strats. If he has 4 health, he will be going for meatball strats. So we just need to hope he doesn't take an unintentional hit on his way to those areas.
Yeah, definitely. So what are we should be getting into this pretty quickly here. What are your kind of just general expectations for this race? Are we going to see a PB from either of these guys? Are we going to see a close race, some seesawing at some points in the race? What are your general thoughts?
Well, since both of these runners are coming off of a brief break from the game, I'm not predicting that either of them will have a PB. I'm just going to hope that both of them can give a decent enough run, like maybe get within 1-2 minutes of their PB. I'll be happy seeing either of the runners do that.
Yeah, definitely. And looks like we should be starting here in a couple more minutes. So I kind of want to pick your brains since we have a little bit of free time before the top of the hour. You have actually are in this division as well. And since you haven't gotten a chance to kind of like voice your general opinions and stuff, after your pre-elimination one, how are you feeling as far as having to go up against the current world record holder, Hetfield?
I'm feeling pretty good against my match against Hetfield. He's also been taking like a short break from the game. I haven't seen him been running too many games lately, or too many Ori runs lately. So I think that's going to work to my advantage. Maybe I can close the gap a little bit. I've also got some new strats ready to roll.
Ooh.
That everybody will be seeing for the first time. So make sure you turn in on Saturday.
Oh,
tune
nice.
in on Saturday.
Tune in. No, it's fine.
Yes.
You were just joining to tune in and turned up, man. To like that's what you're doing right there. You're just doing the combo of that. So that's really awesome to hear, man. And what are also I'll get your thoughts on the other match that's coming up in your group, Rufus versus Raziel. Do you have any general expectations for that? Since Raziel did actually get upset at one point during this tournament already by Brynhold.
Yeah, so Raziel faced me in the group stage, and he won pretty handily. But that was kind of when I was still new. I was still refining a lot of the stuff, and I was still really nervous in the game. But yeah, it was really surprising to see Brynhold take out Raziel there. That's something I did not expect to see at all. But since then, Raziel's put up a lot of good times. I'm predicting that he'll probably advance to the round of 16. But his match versus whoever wins this match here at JHobz versus Icex, that match I cannot wait to see, because I'm predicting JHobz and Raziel to make it through, and that's the number 8 and number 9 seed. So both of them are very close, and we could see a really good race between them.
Yeah, that's a race that's within a minute as far as PBs are concerned. So that's always a great matchup whenever that rolls around. And I like coining the term for Raziel, and my personal nickname for him is the Portuguese pain train, because he comes out of nowhere and you just feel it for days after when you try to race him. And it's like, well, I guess he just pulled out, like, you know, at this point with this PB, it'd be like a mid 33 or a low 33. And it's like, this is completely fine. I'll just not walk correctly for a couple days after. So I think that will be interesting, because as much as he did get upset in that one, he has gotten a lot more consistent, as you said. And so I would see that going the way of Raziel in general. But, you know, Rufus, you know, he's got a pretty decent PB. It's about 3 minutes or so behind Raziel's, 3.5 minutes or so, which is not, you know, it's definitely not, it's overcomable. Let's put it that way, going forward.
Yeah, and looks like we're going to be getting started here in about 1 minute. Do you have any other final thoughts before the match goes underway?
All I have to say is, at some point in this run, I just want to be able to say, Icex, get up. That's all I want to do. But yeah, I think that this will be a really interesting match because they haven't been running the game actively really recently, and so I'll have to see how clean or where, like how clean it ends up being.
Okay, the countdown has begun. And we are away. So we will take a short little bit at the beginning to get the stream synced up. Nothing too crazy going on at the beginning. All of the runners have been pretty consistent at getting roughly the same time to the first skill in the game, which is Sign. Can you tell us about that, Trojan?
Yeah, so Sign is our companion that we have in this whole forest called Nibel, and that is the, as you'll see later on when we're killing all the environment around us and also the enemies. It's like little laser shots, and people, depending on their preference, there's a bit of a cooldown as far as how quickly you can shoot these lasers off. There's two trains of thought with it. If you can optimally mash them in sets of 2, there's only a 30 frame cooldown. And so it ends up being a little bit faster optimally than doing the other route, which I personally do, called shot pacing, which has an 18 frame window if done optimally. So if you're really good at the timing, the mashing is better, but it's all like, that is completely one of the comfort things that you'll see throughout this run, depending on the movements and where people are at.
Yeah, so let's see. It looks like both of them, or it looks like Icex is choosing to shot pace. Is that correct?
Yes, I
couldn't
believe.
tell. Yeah.
I was kind of looking off at the side for a second right there, but I believe Icex does shot pace. I don't know if he switches between them. JHobz does usually mash, because on controller, mashing is a lot easier to time out. So yeah, that's a little bit of difference, as Icex pulls a slight lead so far, about a half a second, with a little bit better movement and a better Frankie fight. Like I said, there's not a lot of like really quick movement at the start over here, and so the little minor optimizations that you can get is what will allow you to get a lead or not, and they're going to be coming up on the first ghost door.
Yeah, so Icex not opting to kill the slime on the way down to the rock. I haven't seen that yet, so it's going to be interesting to see what he does with his experience route.
Mm-hmm,
I think he's going to be leveling up on the way down or on the way up.
Yeah, I think usually when they skip that one, they want to level on the way up. I've never seen a route where that skips or that gets skipped and you level on the way down, mostly because that 3 experience is usually the big difference between those two methods. But yeah, I'll be interested to see what happens with that as well, as they're starting to go down the elbow part of Sunken Glades right here, going towards wall jump. Icex still has about a 1 to 2 second lead over JHobz right now. So Icex has been having a really clean wall jump split so far. He's on pace for about a 3:30 at this point. So let's see if he actually follows through with that.
Yeah, and that is a fantastic time, especially for somebody with Icex's current PB.
Yeah, so he might actually do it on the way down. I just saw him. I think he's 4 away, and that is correct. He is actually going to level up on the way down. So really good job. And by the way, that's a little small minor thing. Generally speaking, the runners will have the UI turned off because it skips all the text dialogue in the game. But it's good sometimes to just double check if you're not sure where your experience is or where your energy or health is at any point. It's better to take that like half a second to just stop and check your health before moving on, because it could be the difference between messing up your strat or life and death sometimes.
And so Icex is about 3 seconds ahead of JHobz right now. It's really impressive how close this race is at the beginning. We'll see for sure how this race is going to play out on our way over to Blackroot Burrows, which is the next area in the game where we will be picking up our next skill, Dash.
Yeah, as JHobz unfortunately has a little bit of a problem with that wall to jump over, and he gets slightly Trojan logged right there. I only say slightly because he actually didn't try a jump. I think he hit it and didn't get his wall jump off in time. So Icex is starting to develop a little bit more of a lead right now. I'd say now it's about 3 to 4 seconds instead of about the 1 second before. So one thing I saw that was a little interesting that Icex did, even though he leveled up on the way down, he opted to still kill the flower that you would take for leveling on the way up. And that must be because he wants to be very certain that he's not low on XP going into BRB. And that's a very legitimate concern, because if you are too low, you have to take extra time to kill something else, or you'll forget, you'll get to the Frankie door, and you're in for a bad time when you don't level up.
Both runners right now are doing this trick called Save Anywhere. It allows them to keep the menu up while they're still moving, and then they go into a cutscene trigger. And by saving before the cutscene plays, they can exit out of the game and resume, and they'll still get the level up, but they will not have to watch the cutscene. And it saves a lot of time, and you'll see it used at several points throughout this run to skip various cutscenes.
Yeah, definitely. That one only saves about 25 seconds, but there's ones later on that save over a minute apiece, so it's definitely worth it later. Oh no! JHobz takes a death right there, right before he got back from getting that orb right there. That's a huge lead now for Icex now. It's now opened up to about 25 seconds. And as Icex takes some damage, but since he was at full health, he is still somehow alive. So he's going to take this nice and slowly over here. But that's so unfortunate for JHobz, because that's right before you would normally put down a safety save, as you saw Icex do. So that is very, very unfortunate, and probably the worst death you can do. I would say the first half of BRB.
Yeah, I think it's also important to note, we just got word that JHobz woke up literally 30 minutes before this match. In addition, he hasn't had much time to practice lately, so he's probably still getting back into the groove of running Ori. Hopefully we can see him shake off this further out through the run.
Yeah, definitely. As Icex is coming up now, hitting the lantern again to the final room where Dash is located, as JHobz is waiting for the cycles to get to that same location. And a little minor thing that they're doing right here, they're actually waiting at the edge right there intentionally to get the cycles manipulated in a certain way, so you'll be able to grab the cycle as it's starting to rise. And you can take that either in a somewhat docile way to save only about like 2 or 3 seconds, or you can do it aggressively to save more like 5 or 6. So it definitely is. JHobz, I think because he died, he tried for the cycle manip, but it was a little bit behind where he expected. So he lost a bit of time right there. So Icex has really gained a substantial lead at this point. The truck was saying it was about 27 seconds behind when they got to, I believe it was the orb like safety save drop. So this is a little bit surprising already. Icex has opened up a lead with very clean play, and JHobz has had a little bit of issues so far. So we'll have to see if this continues on this route or if it can again do the seesawing.
Yeah, this is really good for Icex. I can't help but wonder if he is ahead of PB pace at this time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe our guys in the truck will help us out with that. So, so do you have any thoughts in? Do you think that Icex is going to go for the new Death Dash Glide setup that has been coined by our very own production quality guy, Richard, who ended up finding that? Do you think that both these guys are going to go for it?
Since both of them haven't had much time to practice lately, I can't imagine they will. But we could be surprised, and I hope I'm surprised. Now, Icex is heading on to this trick called Frankie Walk. It's one of the few very big sequence breaks in this game. He's going to lure this Frankie over to the right of the screen up this long, long way, and there's an energy door at the end. Now, normally at this point, you have 2 energy, and the door requires 4 energy. However, by timing a level up right before you get to the door, you can put 2 energy in the door, and then refill your energy with the level up, and then put the other 2 energy, allowing you to get through and skip a huge portion of the game.
Yeah, definitely. And Icex did have a little bit of trouble with the Frankie initially. If you go a little bit too quickly over the stump right there, it will actually be the Frankie will not trigger. Well, he'll do a short hop essentially, and he won't be able to jump up there. So you have to lure him a little bit differently, and it was a little slower, and it allowed JHobz to get about 10 of those seconds back right there.
Okay,
because
over on Icex the screen, is he going to go for it? No, he. Yeah, we'll see if JHobz goes for the fast grotto cycle. Icex opting not to go for it. Can you explain what that trick is?
Yeah, so we call it fast grotto cycle or God cycle, as some people put it. As JHobz, he went for it, but he was a little, I believe, too early on the jump, and he bonked a bit. But so essentially, if you wait about a quarter second to half second, you can actually manipulate the load times of those crushers to allow you to make it so it's still open at the time that you are dashing up there, and you can sneak in there with a couple frames of movement. So it's definitely a really hard trick to set up and practice. So it's not really surprised that neither of them got it. So Icex doing his blind movement right now, coming out of double jump, and he does it pretty cleanly. And he still has about a 10-second lead over JHobz right now at double jump. So we'll see how they do coming up to Grotto Skip. Would you like to discuss that a little bit?
Yeah, so Grotto Skip is this little tricky jump you can do off of this plank here. And it allows you to skip a big section along the left where you're chasing Gumo around this really dangerous spike room. And he gets it on the first try. That's really impressive. Icex was 20 seconds ahead of his PB at double jump, which is really impressive for someone who hasn't had much practice with the game lately. Maybe the break allowed him to relax a little bit, come back fresh.
Yeah, and JHobz actually got it first try as well. So good job to both of them. As Icex actually deciding to not do that right-hand side tricky jump right there. He's going to just go to the left and do it a bit slower. But yeah, if you miss it one time, it's better to go for it a second time. It's almost the same amount of time to miss it an extra time after that. So Icex coming up on Water Vein right now. So again, still about a 10-second lead. And just like you said, it seems like Icex has come with some serious determination right now. He is really hitting a lot of his stride at the moment. And really on a sick pace going to Ginso Tree, the first dungeon of the game right now.
Yeah, so it looked like JHobz missed the rekindle at the cutscene for Gumo. So he lost a little bit of time there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that is a bit finicky if you sometimes put it a little too far away and you try to do the normal timing setup for it, then it becomes a bit of an issue and you will sometimes miss it. It's definitely not a free setup, so that's just allows a little bit extra time for Icex to gain some more of a lead as he is coming up onto the nice adjustment right there. I think he was actually going to hit that swinging spike, but he did a double jump to correct for it. That was a really nice adaptation from Icex. And you don't want to deal damage to yourself going into Ginso.
JHobz having a little bit of trouble getting up to that ability cell, but he's through.
So do you think there's any point in the Ginso tree where we could see maybe a lead change, Vance?
Well, let's see. really, like, I think most of the bad stuff is going to happen at the beginning in these first 2 rooms. There's a lot of like really tricky jumps. We'll see how Icex can handle it. JHobz has also been adding in quite a bit of crazy dash glides in this area. It'll be interesting to see if he goes for them at this point.
Yeah, definitely. As Icex is coming up onto the second room with all of these gamers that are on a cycle, he goes through it really nicely, and he should be taking a safety save up here, as he does. So that was really nice first part again. So right there from Icex. And wow, this is some really sweet movement from Icex right now. He is doing a lot of the really fast strat cycle movements, and let's see if JHobz gets it as well. He actually, JHobz, as you can see, he did a little bit of a dash glide right there, which actually skips a cycle of that second to last gamer. So that's really nice from JHobz.
Okay, JHobz making quick work of the portal room, and he's about 2 screens behind at this point. We see Icex hitting into the mini boss. Can you tell us about this mini boss and why he can be so annoying sometimes?
Yes, he can be annoying because, as you can see, he's spawning in different locations. Those locations are 100% RNG, and depending on your position, he can either spawn or not be able to spawn in certain areas. Icex got pretty good RNG with that, as he continues to rekindle about 5 million times after that, just to make sure he gets the door actually open. But it's definitely the only major point of RNG in the whole run. And that guy can really cause some pain for you to lose just a free like 5 or 6 seconds during a PB attempt.
Right, as it's happened to me several times on occasion.
So we are coming up now onto the Bash tree right now. Do you want to explain why Bash is the second best ability in the game, and why a lot of people run this game?
So Bash is one of my favorite abilities, not just in this game, but in any game. What it does is it allows you to basically latch onto an enemy and then launch yourself in a direction, and then the enemy goes the opposite direction, as you can see Icex doing right now with all of these shots. It also opens up a ton of crazy tricks at the end of the game with charge dash bashes, as we'll see when we get into Sorrow.
Yeah, definitely. Icex is now coming up on Keydupe right now. He did really good movement in through the flower directional puzzle room, and he's going to be getting these 3 keys, putting them in the door, and getting them set up, and he does it perfectly as JHobz is just about to start it. So it's probably about a 30-second lead for Icex right now.
Yeah, the lead hasn't changed too much within Ginso so far, so both of these runners are having very clean.
Icex does take a death right there, but thankfully he rekindled after, so he doesn't lose as near amount of time because he doesn't have to redo the key dupe. But I was getting word from the truck that Icex was ahead of his PB at Bash by 23 seconds, so he is on very good pace for himself right now. JHobz is also coming to the his second time through after he got key dupe, and so they are literally one Misty boss together as he gets the hyperspeed. Beautiful stuff by JHobz.
And so on Icex's screen, he's going to be moving over onto this left side, and he's going to bash this Frankie up to the right, and he wants to get the XP from this frog to level up and destroy both sides of these brambles on the Ginso tree. And it allows you to skip an entire room on the right side. He gets it there. And that's very good because the right side is very, very annoying. We don't want to go there.
Ooh. Oh boy, JHobz. That was... Man, he was doing the from downtown shot on that frog shot to kill the barrier, and I thought he was going to kill the frog with it and have to redo core skip, but man, he gets the fadeaway 3-point jumper. Like, that was great right there from JHobz.
Yeah, this is actually really close. Icex is now only 9 seconds ahead going into the Ginso escape. So we could be seeing a lead change very soon.
Oh, Icex. Oh god, I feel like I have to hold my breath every single time Icex does a Ginso escape, because the last time I commentated I was with Epicat and he almost died at the very end right there by getting swallowed by water. So he's having a little bit of spaghetti as well, and JHobz is now only a couple seconds behind Icex at this point.
Yeah, I'm holding my breath, hoping that none of them mess up the escape, because this is so close.
Alright, so let's see. Icex had a problem before. He's got these last couple lanterns, and he is out of there. Let's see if JHobz does the same. And man, they are so incredibly close. That's about 4 seconds between them. So man, we have a race on our hands, and man, kudos to Icex for keeping up this pace. And again, this is a huge disparity in seeding and also average time. But Icex is just he's pulling out what he needed to do to keep pace with JHobz.
Okay, both of them are using 2 of those keys that they duplicated earlier in Ginso. This allows you to skip a large section of swimming underwater, which nobody likes to do. And they're making their way to the next ability, Stomp. Trojan, can you tell us about Stomp?
Yeah, so Stomp is kind of an interesting ability because it's not incredibly useful most of the time. What it is useful for is breaking the environment around you. So we manipulate its radius a couple times to be able to kill things, and also to do the upcoming trick Drainless, which allows you to keep the state of stomping after you save. So man, we have frame for frame, by the way, dashing over here to go to Drainless. This is incredible. So Icex opting in not drop his save first. He's going to drop his save on the way out. So let's see him set this up. And
I think this is going to be determined based on the Kuro cutscene skip.
I believe so.
What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so Kuro cutscene skip is a great, it's a great little trick, very tight window where you're supposed to kind of walk into this later.
Unfortunate death for Hobbs there.
Yeah, as another lead change has occurred, and you need to get on a very specific kind of pixel on the ground, buffer a bash, in order for you to actually skip the cutscene, because you go through it too quickly and it despawns the cutscene.
Yeah. So in tournament races, Icex is 1 for 3 on the Kuro cutscene skip, and Hobbs is 3 for 4. So Hobbs is through, and both of them are through. This is incredible. I cannot believe how close this match still is.
Yeah, this is insane. Hobbs is starting to get a little bit of cleaner movement, but Icex is nailing this stuff. So he is going to gain a little bit of time here because Hobbs opted to. Did Hobbs opt to get the 5th health energy cell? I'm pretty sure he did.
I did not see the 5th energy cell.
Yeah, but Icex did not go for it. So he is opting for the 4 energy strat. The 5 energy strat is slower when you're taking safety saves, but if you are in a PB attempt and you do enough of the really fast movement and stomp cancels and stomp jumps cancels.
So this is the 2nd skill tree in a row that we've seen both of them on it at the same time. I just hope this pace maintains for both runners.
Dude,
they are 2 seconds
agree.
apart.
So a little bit of a strat difference that you can see right here. Icex decided, oh, was he actually in that cutscene? Okay, he was. I was a little concerned he wasn't in it, but yeah. So JHobz was doing a setup where you actually do a save anywhere in order to glide into it, but Icex did the slower, safer setup of dropping a save next to Spirit Well, hopping on there, and then triggering it at that point.
Okay, JHobz is on his way to doing a trick called Fast Stompless. Both of these runners are on controller, and it is significantly harder to do this trick on controller. Hobbs is only 1 for 3 in tournament races, so this is another opportunity for Icex to gain back some time he's lost.
Yeah, definitely. Hobbs takes some damage right there from the bird, and so that's going to make this a little dicier because now anything will kill him right here on his way up and down from Fast Stompless. That is incorrect. All All right, and let's see. It's giving Icex a bit of time. He realized that was too low, so Hobbs having a little bit of problems setting up this fast stompless.
Okay, I think it hit the roof there. I didn't see it go all the way through, so let's see.
Yep, he did not get it.
Yep.
So now they're tied again because Icex has always opted to not go for fast stompless. Oh no!
Oh,
and
no!
Hobbs just died, and he didn't put a safety save. So this is a huge lead for Icex right now. Incredible amount of lead, about now 1 minute and 15 seconds right now. That is an insanely costly death from JHobz.
Yeah, but we're coming up on Sorrow Pass. This is a very brutal area, and mistakes can happen for either runner here, so it's definitely not over yet. We'll see. What I want to see is if JHobz is going to opt to go for fast stompless again.
Yeah, and whether he drops a safety save up here now. He's got to know. I mean, I don't know if he's actually watching right now.
Yeah, so we got word before this match that JHobz is indeed watching the other player right now. Usually he turns it off, and he tends to focus. He even has his splits closed when he's racing. He doesn't want to talk with chat, just wants to focus only on the race. So he's got to see how far behind he is, and he's going for it again. Hopefully he can pull it off.
Okay, that one
shot,
looks good.
It looks okay.
Oh, he
And
did
he
get
gets
it.
it.
Okay,
Okay.
very nice. So Icex is, again, he is very much ahead right now as Icex is trying to do this. I think, oh, the bird was not low enough. He actually helped him. He did take some damage, but let's see if he decides to take a safety save right here by getting the extra energy after this rocket jump.
Yeah, and that death from JHobz has opened the lead for Icex to be about 1 minute. However, JHobz has a pretty quick Sorrow. He's gotten Sorrow Bash first try every single time he's done it in the race or in the tournament races. So hopefully he can maintain that consistency and get through here.
Yeah, definitely. And so Icex did drop a safety save. Let's see if he decides to reset. He is going to reset the frog's health by rekindling and dying. So it makes the frog juggle a little bit easier to deal with. And he looks like he's starting to get a good setup. He is going to decide to do the slightly slower but safer method as JHobz actually dies right there. Doing Sorrow Bash did not do a safety save up at the top, so he has to do this rocket jump again. And Icex almost has a 2-minute lead on JHobz. It's getting pretty ridiculous at this point.
Yeah, JHobz having a little bit of trouble with the Sorrow Bash. See if he can get it here. As Icex reaches the top of Sorrow, he's doing another save anywhere, and he's going on his way to get the Sunstone. Sunstone is needed to open up the final area in the game, Horu.
Yeah, and one of the more interesting things is JHobz is getting the energy. The save down there. Oh, he's doing the new strat setup, I think. Or he's doing long juggle? Oh, no. No, okay. He was going to do this new setup that we found. It's really hard on a controller where you can actually charge dash, stomp, and bash cancel to get that guy up there without having to get this frog. But he decides he did too much damage to it, so he's going to do the regular frog juggle. And that's another mistake that's going to give Icex some more time. Like ahead of him now at this point. So as Icex is coming up to charge jump right now and is going to proceed to Misty Woods. I mean, Icex right now is on insane pace, and I believe we'll hopefully get an update from the guys in the truck, but he should be ahead of his PB right now.
Yeah, Icex is about 30 seconds ahead of his PB as of charge jump. So as long as he just keeps it clean for the rest, he has a very, very high chance of PBing in this race.
Yeah, this is if Icex doesn't have a major death for the rest of this run, it's even with the better movement that JHobz tends to have, that's going to be like really hard to come back from a 1 minute and 15-second deficit. And let's see, he is going to drop a save right here. That's a really nice save that a lot of Reveners have been opting to at the entrance of Misty, because going all the way back to charge jump, is unfortunately it's very sorrowful.
Yeah, if you don't safety save in Misty, a lot of people will opt to not save at all until they get to climb. So all the way down there, if you have any mistake, run into the spikes, just have anything happen to you, you're all the way back up at charge jump, and it's a significant time loss.
Yeah, definitely. Icex is now coming up onto climb right here. Let's see if he drops another safety save. He decides not to. And he's going to go through here normally, go through a bunch of spikes, and did I mention that there are spikes in this section? Oh, as JHobz takes a more minor death of about 10 seconds right there.
And Icex makes it safely to climb, so he's got to be feeling pretty good about himself with this time. Judging by his splits being green, I'm assuming he has his splits open, so he knows, just how good of a pace he's on right now.
Yeah.
We'll see if he can make it out cleanly.
Yeah, definitely. And the truck was reminding me that we are out of happiness pass at this point. Actually, never mind. JHobz took another death, and so this lead just becomes ever larger at this point. And let's see if Icex decides to do a safety save. He does indeed. He drops a bit of energy. I don't think he expected... Oh, and the frog's there too. They both came with a chair. I wasn't expecting both of them there. It was a tag team duo. But yeah, he's down at 1 energy now because he did... Oh no, and JHobz has the same death again. This is incredible right now. So Icex... JHobz...
Icex also gets an unfortunate death there. He's been at 1 HP for that whole section, I believe. I can't remember if he saved before he took damage or after he took damage.
It was before. It was before he took damage, because he took the damage when he ran into those 2 foes when he was going through the laser section. So he should be good to go through this now. So this is incredible. So we've got Icex, who is almost at the point where he's going to be leaving Misty, and JHobz still hasn't entered Misty yet. I cannot believe what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, and JHobz still not...
He knows a backup strat. He does know the backup strat. What a great job by Icex to know what to do right here. And please drop a safety save, Icex. Oh, good lord. But that's such great awareness from Icex. He didn't panic. He said, okay, I'm still at full health. I can take damage off these spikes and charge jump off of them during my iframes. So that's a really, really great adaptation from Icex.
JHobz throwing in some nice stomp cancels and Misty. He still has not placed any safety saves, so I'm really hoping he makes it through this cleanly.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Let's see what Icex does right here. He is going for the slower setup that I actually go for as well with the mini boss. And he does get the mini boss pretty cleanly, almost a true 1 cycle, just some minor stops after. So let's see if he ends up dropping a save right here after this, or if he decides to just go through since he is at full health.
It looks like we're having some trouble on JHobz's screen. Hopefully
oh no, Icex! Oh no, that's such a huge death for Icex right there. So now this actually gives a little bit of breathing room now for JHobz right now, as Icex unfortunately did not take the save after and had a little bit of problems getting through the final section of Misty.
Yeah, that was a really costly death for him. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to PB now from this point, but he's still ahead of JHobz, at least I think so. His screen's been freezing a little bit, so I can't tell exactly what's happening over there. Hopefully it gets fixed soon.
Definitely. Oh no, and Icex died again. Oh my goodness. This is a race again, boys and girls. We are now only about like a couple keystones away from each other. This is insane. I don't know what's going on in this race anymore, fans.
Yeah, it's going to be a big question mark. I'm hoping Hobbs' internet will stabilize soon so we could get a solid time of where he's at relative to Richard. Or relative to Icex, sorry.
Yeah, it looks like JHobz, yes, JHobz just had another death right there. And let's see if Now Icex decides to drop the safety save right here after last time. Oh boy. And he is not. He is deciding not to.
No, he has
Oh my
full
God.
HP. I think he's not going to have an issue. He's through the hard part, through those spikes. Just a couple quick charge dashes down and he'll be out.
Definitely. Okay, so he is coming out of there right now.
Oh, some
And,
beautiful stomp cancels coming out of there.
That was very, very nice movement from Icex. As JHobz is now coming back through to get the final keystone. Now there's about, I would say, a minute between the two runners right now. This wasn't incredibly close before, but it sure is close now. And oh, JHobz going for another rocket jump, trying to get to rocket jump off the projectile, but unfortunately doesn't do it. So he can't do his meatball strats, unfortunately.
Yeah, meatball strats requires you to be at full HP, and Icex had... Actually, no, that was the intentional death. For a minute I thought it was a death further down, but nope, that was perfectly intentional. He's on his way. Can he hit the Yoka cycle? He's going for it.
Nope.
Just barely short.
Yeah, he unfortunately bonked on the ceiling right there. You have to have pretty precise movements in order to make that cycle. So let's see if he goes for it again or if he opts to just go the slower route. And he is going the slower route.
Meanwhile, JHobz is on his way out of Misty. He's at 3 HP, so he still needs to be a little bit careful.
Icex! He had another death right there. He was trying to adjust the Baneling, and oh boy, now it's really, really close. There's only about 30 seconds between these runners at this point. It's anybody's game.
Yeah, I think this may be one that comes down to how successful Icex can be at door warp.
Yeah, definitely. I 100% agree with that. But, I mean, he's not out of the woods yet. There is some stuff that can kill you right here.
Yeah, so he's pretty free on his way over to the most useful ability in the game, Light Grenade. It's also one of my personal favorites. Can you tell us why Light Grenade is so useful?
Dude, Light Grenade is, one, it's useful because it can break barriers just like Charge Flame can. And secondly, you can play football and baseball in Ori. That's definitely a good enough reason in order to call it the best ability in the game, for sure. And it's super swag when you get some different dash glides and stuff off of it.
No, for sure. So Icex is on his way out from Light Grenade, just as JHobz gets it. They are about, let's see, about 20 seconds apart now.
Man, this is incredibly close. I would have never thought it based on how many problems JHobz had during Sorrow Pass. But we'll have to see if Icex is good to go right here.
Yeah, and Door Warp will be very interesting because Icex currently holds the world record for the most door warps in a tournament race with 18. However, that being said, after that performance, he decided to learn how to time door warps instead of mashing, and since then he's gotten a lot more consistent at it, and his following two races were 5 door warps and then 2 door warps. So based on that trend, do you think we're going to be seeing the first try door warp for Icex?
Ooh, I won't. I don't know if I'll say first try because it is much harder on controller, but I'll definitely say first 3 for him. I think for both of these runners, I'll say first 3. And Icex is about to come up on it here very, very shortly. He's got one little bit of movement left right here with some charge dashes. Very, very nice. So yeah, we've only got about 20 seconds between the runners right now, maybe even a bit less than that. So this is literally going to come down to door warp. This is going to be Melvin versus Rivid part 2.
Yeah, they're both at door warp right now. Let's see. So first try coming in for Icex.
Okay,
Again, he's timing the door warps here.
Okay, Icex does not get it first try.
Second
and he
try.
gets a second. Very good by Icex right there. So now he is going to it.
Yeah, timing the door warp has been really, really helpful for Icex. And it looks like JHobz was doing a little bit of mashing now. I know he's used to timing it. And there he gets it. He's in. So
I
it's
believe that
going
was
to come
third
down.
try. Yeah.
Yeah, so Icex does not go for fish strats. So you'll have to die at some point in this escape sequence for JHobz to have a chance to take it. We'll see what happens. But so far he's going through pretty cleanly.
I'm so hyped right now for this. Does he have enough energy to go through this? I don't know if he does. Oh, he does. Okay, he still had one. So, God, Icex.
Gosh, come on.
Oh, JHobz does take a death, so Icex has a little more breathing room right now. Let's see.
If Icex doesn't die here, he will win this race. It'd be a huge upset. Let's see. I have stats for.
And Icex actually does it. We have
he
the
makes it
upset
through.
with about a 40, almost like a 40-minute, 18-second. Incredible. And JHobz takes another death, unfortunately. But I had no idea this was going to happen. And honestly, like, if you think back on it, this would have even been a more one-sided upset as well if Icex didn't have a couple really costly deaths in Misty. It could have been maybe like a difference of about 3 minutes between them finishing.
Yeah, up through Misty, Icex had a fantastic run. But important to note, only 4 people predicted Icex to win this race, and 23 for JHobz. So unfortunately for them, this has ruined a lot of people's prediction brackets.
Yeah, definitely. And I know even some people had JHobz winning in the next round against Raziel as well. So, man, congratulations to Icex as the 24 seed coming in here and giving us our first upset of the round of 32. I am in actual utter shock right now. I don't even know what to say. This is so awesome for Icex. Like, just all the underdogs everywhere, just pretty much saying, please give me your energy, and how is he generating this much power? So JHobz is also holding it. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I believe that is Icex's best tournament performance to date.
I believe so as well. I think his average before was around a 43.5 or something, 44. I didn't see the stats earlier, but yeah, that was definitely by far his cleanest run. And man, that was, wow, incredible. He gets a final time of 40.22. It looks like JHobz is going to finish here in about 6 seconds. So within a minute behind, it's going to be a 41.10. And GG to Icex, man. That is incredible. So a 24 seed taking down a 9. Just, okay, first thoughts, fan. Whatever comes to your head, just say it.
What the heck happened?
That's what I'm thinking. that's I don't know what happened in that race. Like, Icex, outside of 2 major deaths, had such a clean run, and honestly could have PB without those deaths. Like, I am so incredibly, like, we have to re-emphasize, both of these guys had both been pretty off of the game recently. And Icex said, you know what? I don't care if I haven't run this game. I'm going to know with what I know how to do. And I'm just going to throw that out there. And if it wins, it's going to win, like in a case like this. And boy, did it work for him.
Yeah, and I have an update as for the answer to the question of what the heck happened. And that is, during the race, JHobz controller actually disconnected several times throughout. That could have been responsible for some of the uncharacteristic deaths we saw from him in Misty.
Oh,
so that is really, really unfortunate to happen to JHobz there. That's incredible, actually. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I understand it was really close, like within a minute, but if Icex would have even done a really same end, that may have actually not mattered. It mattered in how it actually ended up with time. But if you take the second half of Misty out of there and take the rest of Icex's run, that was really clean, and he really had no unintentional deaths
that cost him any time. So that's really unfortunate to hear, though, about Hobbs' controller. That's got to be really frustrating for him.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we've had a situation like this happen in the tournament before with controllers disconnecting during the match.
I don't believe so. That's the first that I've heard about it. So anyway, with that upset, we are now going to transition to the huge amount of races that we have tomorrow, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And do you want to help us set up some of those races, Fant?
Yes, I am pulling up the race schedule. Stand by.
No problem. I'm super excited for all the races tomorrow. It's going to be great.
Okay, we are starting off with the match between the one and only Trojan Dude 12 versus Snoopy McQuee. That's going to kick off our big Saturday block of Ori races. What do you think about that match? Who do you think's going to win, and who do you hope to win?
I hope that I win. And the one thing I will say, like, I know I'm touted to win. I've got a way better PB than Snoopy, but Snoopy has shown in other races that if it wasn't for a couple major spaghetti points, he could have possibly PB'd in 2 other races. The one that just happened where he won in the prelimination, and also I think his one right before that. So I'm definitely not sleeping on Snoopy. I'm going to come guns blazing for him tomorrow.
Yeah, and as I was mentioning at the beginning of this round or this match, Icex had the 3rd most consistent race times as far as difference between his average and his tournament best performance. Mm-hmm. Now, the 2 people who have a better average is Hetfield and Snoopy McQuee. So it'll be interesting to see if that stability can be maintained.
Yeah, definitely.
And then after that, we have Rufus versus Raziel at 2 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. And then what about the next match after that?
Yeah, so after that, then we've got another block of 3 races. First between Terra 21 and Snowflame. Then we've got you, Mr. Fant_TV, against Hetfield. And then finally rounding that block out with Brynhold against Randomson. And then I believe we have 2 really good matches in the evening as well, Fans.
Yeah, we have Nigel versus Epic Cat and Cheese Lover versus Monkley. Cheese Lover versus Monkley is going to be a great match to watch, a good match to cap the day off of.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. I can't wait for that. And so I believe that is all that we have. I don't know if Speed Gaming has anything going on later after this, but that's going to be it for Ori races tonight. Fant, thank you very much for commentating with me. It was a pleasure.
Yes, it has been a pleasure.
All right, and for everyone out there watching, okay, they have a link to the past. I believe it's the randomizer tournaments, if I'm guessing the category correctly. So please stick around for that. That stuff is really freaking cool. So, hecking cool. I need to censor myself a little bit. So please stick around and watch that. And thank you again to Speed Gaming for having us on their channel for this whole tournament. And we will see you guys all tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time for the huge Ori block of races tomorrow. So thank you very much, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Going to kill it far, far away from this door where he actually needs to level up. And then he's going to dash to the door, the XP chasing him, he gets the energy, he opens the door, and that is...
Exactly. I think it's probably the one of the most stupid strats that we have.
Oh, goodness, Monkley with the dodge. That was...
I like floating laser turret, which you can imagine what that is. But yeah, I think they didn't mean for anybody to ever see these. Did you just see what Rufus did in that key?
I have never seen that. Is that faster?
Is that faster?
Didn't play through it. And it's very rewarding as well. Oh no!
Oh, he makes it! Wow.
Oh my god,
That
I
was so close to only.
For the 5th energy. So that's going to put a temporary gap in between them. But it's going to... Oh my gosh.
What a nice adaptation to save it.
Races, and you watch someone who doesn't get the rocket jump up towards Sunstone, you might see them.
Whoa! He actually knocked that frog into the wall. Look, he thought he was completely done for, but
He said, I just don't want to die, because if you don't save and you die here, it's real bad. So he's going to be taking a save.
Oh, wow. So Trojan got the shot. His shot looked extremely high, but he got it, and that's going to practically level this race right now.
Yeah, as you can see, they're now in the same cutscene, and Terra has to go up to the Spirit Well.
That's really where you're supposed to need all this wind without using the wind. He also went for a ridiculously risky trick there, where he skipped through that.
Spent like 4 minutes in door.
oh, Meldon, can he make it back to the lane? What a beautiful charge dash from Meldon to save himself. That was absolutely insane. And yes, please take that safety stand.
All he has to do here is get to the end of the game. That's his only target, whereas Cheese is on his way to Misty Woods. He's going to be going. Wow!
Oh, Rastiel, no!
Oh my god,
Rastiel, no!
I can't believe
Oh my god.
Think about that. So, just little things like that. Strategy getting to... Oh, goodness. Oh, the laser! Oh, god.
Oh, man.
Coming out of...
Melvin. First miss for Melvin, second miss for Ruben. Third attempt, Ruben misses on the 3rd attempt. Melvin misses it on the 2nd attempt. I can't believe what I'm seeing. Ruben, 4th attempt, misses. Melvin gets it on the 3rd attempt, and he takes the lead for the first time.
Ruben got it!
But Ruben gets it as well. I'm losing my mind here because they're actually come down execution on the final escape.
Dropping falling trees and boulders, and the whole time Kuro, the main villain, is chasing you. And you have to escape. Wait. Oh no, he bonks unfortunately. Oh my god.
Oh my god, it's nice.
This is so close to time. It's a really swag strat that only saves 2 seconds and has the potential to lose you over a minute.
He's going for it again.
He's going for it again. The absolute madman.
Okay.
Here we go. Oh no! Brindle's in the lead! Guys, okay, let's see if Brindle goes for fish strats. If he just plays it safe, he has this in the bag. He can't lose from here. He's not doing fish strats. Brindle's got this.